have a loved one in substance abuse, I can tell you that this is not a problem that is simply going to go away. This is going to be part of your life for pretty much ever, in some way, shape, or form. Even when they go and get better, even if they start their journey into recovery, this is still going to be something that is part of your life forever. And we can either deny that, we cannot like that fact, or we can finally come to some sort of an acceptance and say, you know what? If this is going to be a part of my life, I might as well figure out what I'm going to do. How am I going to support them? How am I going to help them? What do I need to do? Who is the person I need to be in order to be in their life? And it does take a certain kind of person. And it's like, we can fight it. We can get angry about it. We can throw temper tantrums. We can resist it. But at the end of the day, and when we do those things, unfortunately, life will come beat us down and finally get us to the point of going, all right, I guess it's time to look and deal with this. If there are loved ones in your life that have substance abuse issues, it is not just gonna go away. So it's good to start thinking about, well, okay, what am I going to do? And this is where it's so important that you get help for yourself. And one of the first things that we always say is, well, first we have to admit that there is a problem. And I get the resistances behind this because, believe me, for being in recovery, for having my own substance abuse issues, I think about how far down I had to go before I was able to admit to myself that there was really a problem. And it's like, you can make this a whole lot easier on yourself if, when you look at your loved one, and I can tell you some things that just simply aren't normal, because part of what we like to do is we like to blow things off and pretend like things aren't happening because we don't know what to do if we admit to ourselves that there's a problem. But here are some of the things that are not normal. It is not normal to wake up at 9 a.m. and start drinking alcohol or using any kind of drugs. It's not normal to take pills every day. It is not normal to smoke crack. It is not normal to snort a little bit of coke. It is not normal to take the club drugs. It is not normal to get blackout drunk every weekend. These are just some of the things that we like to convince ourselves that it's like, oh, it's not really a problem. I mean, they seem to be going to work until they're not going to work. You know, they seem to be holding up their life okay until they're not holding up their life okay. And that's really, it does come down to admitting that there's a problem. But then what? You know, now we have to figure out what we're going to do. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is a journey. And one of the biggest things is figuring out, how are you going to continue to be in their life, knowing that there's a problem and being able to support and help them. And that can be a real challenge. This is where getting help for yourself is important, just like getting help for themselves, because essentially we have to do the exact same thing that we are asking them to do. And that can be hard. And no, whereas your problem is not substance abuse and you are not destroying your life, but it may be that keeping them from destroying their lives and keeping them from destroying your life is part of the problem. You know, you may not know how to keep them at a distance and love them and support them. And, you know, we say a lot of things in terms of, oh, well, I could never do that to my son or daughter or husband and wife. I could never do that. And here's what I'll say about tough love, and this is a very common saying that I say, is tough love is not about being tough on them. It's about sometimes making decisions that are tough to do. But it doesn't mean that we can't make those decisions with a lot of love, with a lot of compassion, with a lot of thought, with putting in and explaining the expectations. It's really important that they understand what you are willing to accept into your life and what you're willing to not accept into your life. Now, that's easier said than done, because part of working on your own strength in order to do the things that you may have to do, that's a journey. That's something where it's like you can't do this by yourself, and no one's asking you to have to do this by yourself. There are people out there like myself that are willing and able to help in your journey to give you that strength. Part of what I do is helping people understand what are some good boundaries that we need to set for ourselves. You know, I came out with a whole program called the Unbreakable Boundaries Program, specifically designed to help people understand how to formulate those boundaries that we don't break. We don't break in those boundaries, but more importantly, it's how do we set boundaries for ourselves, and how do we get to be the person that has the strength in order to do that. And it does sometimes create, and we have to go to a very vulnerable place, but it's crucial to the success of you, and it's crucial to the success of them, that we start growing those internal muscles to be able to deal with whatever happens in the future, because we do not know what is going to happen. And again, as I said in the beginning of this video, this is a problem that will not just solve itself. You can't just sit around and wait for them to fix their whole lives overnight so that you don't have to worry. It's something that creeps up all the time. Even when they're in recovery, something may happen. How are you going to be able to deal with this? What are the red flags? How are you going to be able to take those rose-colored glasses off and not let hope be so blinding that you can't see what's right in front of your face? We do that because we just need them to be okay. And sometimes they are just okay, but at the same time, we need to be the person that can deal with anything that's going to happen. And we don't know what that is. It could be the worst thing. It could be not so bad. It could be them going to jail. It could be them robbing you. Who knows what's going to happen? How are you going to deal with it? Because they are not themselves. Absolutely not themselves. And they are willing to do things that you never thought that they would be capable of doing. Anything that you have ever said, oh, my loved one would never do that, it's a not yet. Put a not yet on that into that sentence. And you'll know exactly what they'll be capable of. So I really hope that this was incentive enough to realize that you have to be willing to do the very same thing that you're asking them to do, which is to get out and go get some help for yourself. I am a resource for that. You can go check out my website, maniliconsulting.com. I'm not the only resource. I have a podcast. I have a lot of free videos. I have a free ebook on my website. I give a lot of free content, and I also provide programs and more a little bit one-on-one stuff that will change the dynamics in the relationship with your loved one, which is what needs to happen. So if not me, then someone, anyone, go out and get help, and don't let that stigma, don't let those voices, don't let that shame keep you from doing what you need to do for yourself. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope for your sake that you reach out and go get some help. Have a good day.